Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willis, your host. Thank you so kindly being a part of the show. Well. Bridge MCP is in the house. Welcome, Bridge. Maywood is in the house. Michael Rudden is in the house. I started my thing a little bit late, so I'm going to have to try to find Rudden's commentary directly on the Facebook page, I guess. And I think I did find it. Anyway, we are going to have a great show for you today. All right, let's get started. Melanie Keelan is in the house from Barcelona, Spain. Let's go ahead and start with what we have here from Michael, who says, I only have two things from Michael, I think. Michael, if you have more than two, the first one is Waflo. No, that's not the one. Let's go ahead and, oh my God, it's scrolled off. I can't find it. I can't find it quite yet, but I want to find it because I want to do what I am supposed to do, which, we don't want you on again. There we go. All right, let's see if I can find Michael's stuff. I think I found it. Okay. Waflo99 tweeted a short video of the incident that I hope you play. My cousin got this a few days ago. The gunshots happened a few seconds after the stop recording. Let's see. Okay, I'll bring up that Twitter. Since it's on Twitter, I think that should be okay. So I'm going to put that on Twitter right now. And then we'll get into the program. The program today is going to be about a caller to my show and also what Antonia had to say. But here we go with the video that Rondon just went ahead and brought us. Let's see if I can get some audio on there. All right, there we go. I don't know what I'm seeing. Let's start it over. Is that a guy from a wheelchair?
Big ass machete.
That's interesting. I'd love to know what the backstory is there. Anyway, we just showed a video with a disabled person in a wheelchair and police officers pulling guns on him. But I don't really know what the backstory is. Rudden, I hope you had given me some more information on that one, my brother. Let's see what else we had here. Julie Henderson, welcome to Politics and Right. Bridge MCP, welcome. Yvette Avery Herod, welcome to Politics and Right, as well as Eric Hayes. We also have Peggy Lopez, Melanie Keelan, and of course, Michael Rudden. Okay, let's see. The other one from Michael Rudden says, The Guardian, California police kill police Lowe, a double amputee who was fleeing, scared for his life. A Southern California Police Department is facing national backlash after footage revealed that the officer fatally shot a double amputee. That's what we're just seeing. Okay, you did send the info, amputee, and wheelchair user who appeared to be hobbling away on the ground before he was killed. Anthony Lowe, 36, was killed by officers in Huntington Park, a city in southern Los Angeles County. Last Thursday, cell phone footage captured part of the incident, showing Lowe on the sidewalk next to his wheelchair, appearing to try to flee as two officers approached him with weapons drawn. More police cars arrived as the officer followed Lowe, who seemed to be limping away, but the video did not capture the shooting. Now, Lowe's family is calling for officers to be terminated and face. I mean, I don't know the entire backstory on that, but it seems to me it's kind of interesting for somebody that disabled to really create a problem, right? Anyhow, I don't know. These trigger-happy guys, I don't know the story, so I can't say much about the story, Michael Rudden. I don't know much about it. All right, continuing, we have Eric Hayes says, who is suffering here? Women from the beater, 37-year-old man accused of assaulting at least 4 women, granted bond, released after each attack. I hope you know that it's a prosecutor who decides to ask the judge and give corroborating information to hold on to the suspect, right? I hope you know that. But if you don't, you were just informed. Lee Grant says, "Hi all." Let's see what I say. Yvette Everett said, "Good afternoon." I tell you how we're going to start. I am. Maywood says, double Amati, multiple cases. HB is kind of a hometown for me. I hear you. Alistair Waters is in the house. She says hello to everybody. All right, let's go ahead and play the first video. This occurred on my show on Monday, and I thought it was worth showing here. Check it out, and then we'll take it on the other side. First, let's go ahead and bring James into the fold. He wants to mention about gas prices. Go ahead, James.
Oh, yeah. I was just listening to the show, and I'm a supporter of KPFT, and I'm thankful for, varied voices being on the air and great music. I do have, I guess, a disagreement with the host of the show. I felt like his comments were very simplistic in nationalizing the oil company, the oil business. I think would be a silly, crazy thing, in my humble opinion. Mm-hmm. What I do know is that the people that work for oil companies, including those trying to get the oil to the refineries and from the refineries to made into gasoline, they work their buns off.
Yes, they do.
And to think that there are people that are trying to do bad things to families through the oil business, I think it's ludicrous, simplistic, it's misleading. It's very frustrating for me as a donator to the station for someone to spread that kind of hate. I'm sorry.
Okay, now
it's really frustrated me.
Please stay with me, because I am the host that you're talking about, and I'll be happy.
Oh, well, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I'll be very happy to talk to you about that. First of all, let me be clear that I'm not maligning all those hard workers in the oil industry, all those engineers, lawyers, PhDs. In fact, I think if you heard my earlier comment, I said that all the intelligence that these oil companies attained came from your tax dollar, my tax dollar, of educating all those very bright people at universities. I'm sure that you agree with that, correct?
I disagree with the way that you intended to say it.
No, wait. Let me.
Seemingly.
Wait, I want to take you down a path first, and then you can object to me after. Because what I want to always do when I do these things is to have a dialogue specifically to correct myself if I came across to you in a manner that seemed detrimental to the people themselves, and not the executives that I'm speaking about, the evil ones. And I really mean evil. I'm not taking that back. I really mean that they are evil. But let's back up.
I understand what you believe.
It's not a belief.
What I can tell you.
Wait, hold on, sir. Sir, let me tell you about the belief portion, okay? Let me ask you this. If you're an intelligent person, based on how you're speaking, you're an intelligent person. If you know that we are in hard times right now, if you also know that there is and this is not up for debate either, there is an oil glut. And if you also know, right, that increasing the prices in this type of environment would hurt people, you can only do that if you have no humanity within you to do that. I know you're following a system, but it would have to be considered inhumane if you are going home with a big bonus and all the shareholders are getting a lot of money as the people who are buying your product are suffering. Can't you see that?
I can see how you would have that opinion. And
how is it an opinion and not a fact, sir? Please explain.
Okay, because an oil company is made up of a bazillion people, and you're being somewhat simplistic to think that some super senior executive can make a decision in a vacuum and get a bunch of money for himself.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. I don't think that's what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying...
Well, let me finish my thought.
Go ahead.
Let me finish my thought. People that do what you were describing in terms of getting gasoline to the pump are working against many other companies that are also trying to get gasoline to the pump.
I agree.
In a competitive environment.
I agree.
And you do the best you can to get oil to the refinery and gasoline from the refinery to the pump at the best price you can so you can beat the next guy.
I agree.
And so you're totally ignoring the fact that we're in America and that we're a competitive economy that is far better than if we nationalize oil.
Let me ask you a foolish question, sir. Because in reality, we do have our oils, the way our oil is manufactured, if you will. Okay, it's in a socialist environment for corporations. Let me explain. When a company drills a well, did they put the oil there? No.
I'm
right?
not going to answer. Sorry, I'm not going to answer questions that you know the answer to that drive your logic.
But I'm not trying. I'm really not trying.
You're construing a lot of things together.
Sir, I'm not trying to do that.
This is the answer, and I totally disagree with you.
But sir, I'm not trying to do. What I'm trying to do is this: we were indoctrinated into a certain belief, and in being indoctrinated into a certain belief, we think that these are things that have to be done. Let me give an example. Here's what I'm going to use your words. You said that the reason these prices are high, which you are correct, is all these companies competing against each other, and they can actually, there's a certain amount of manipulation, but they can actually, they try to get the best price so that they can make a profit. I agree with all of that. What I'm saying is we need... I
didn't say the best price they can get a profit. I say they have to have a price that's competitive in the market, or they don't sell their product.
Isn't saying something is competitive mean that you want to make a profit as well as selling your product? I'm asking, don't you agree with that?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
yes,
fine.
You can say that.
No, so then what I'm saying, sir, is the following. There are certain parts of our economy that does not belong in the private sector. It should be in the commons. And I think the oil sector is one of them. The health sector is one of them. And I think they have proven to us with the volatility of pricing and all these other issues that they don't, and for an essential resource. In other words, you must drive, but you may have, you're probably doing fairly well. 80% of Americans are struggling. And what I'm saying is there are certain parts of our economy that if we want to be humane, we shouldn't have in a for-profit area where we can look at Wall Street and see executives making huge bonuses. We just saw that Chevron made more money than it has ever made, largest profit than it has ever had, as other people are suffering. That should tell somebody that there is something wrong with an economic system where that can occur. And all I am saying is not to be whatever that you may want to think. I am just saying we need to do things differently so that we don't repeat ourselves all the time. And I am saying nationalization of certain sectors. I'm a free enterprise person. I really am. I own my own company, all that good stuff. But there are certain areas that are required to humanity, to our people, that does not belong in the private sector. And the people in the healthcare industry, in the insurance industry, has proven to us that they have no soul. The executives in I'm talking insurance agency, the executives in the oil industry has proven to us that they have no soul, because again, the way the things work will cost us. That's all I'm saying. I am saying nothing to hurt you or anybody else. I want things right for Americans, and it's not simplistic. It's possible. Your thoughts? I
guess I'll have to say I respectfully disagree on where you end up in your logic. I agree that, we are a country that has haves and have-nots people.
Yes.
And that is very unfortunate.
By design,
we should try
sir.
to get better all the time. However, your inflammatory wording, I think, is disrespectful.
To whom?
Of facts.
No. What fact did I disrespect?
I listen to a lot of news programs, and whether it's the far right or the far left, I feel like you're saying things that you think maybe people want to hear.
No. I
honestly think
sir,
you are totally
I want to say, I believe,
facts and truth.
Sir, everything that I've just...
If you need some economic information, you should talk to economics professors and see what they say about what you're scheming.
I have.
And you say things, and then you say that this is what you believe. People ought to hear what the facts are.
And sir, that's what I'm saying.
I disagree that you're speaking.
I understand.
Facts.
I understand, sir. But facts are immutable. Okay. And what I'm saying, everything that has come out of my mouth that I've spoken to you about, it's not debatable. Really, they're really facts, right? And I don't think you are able.
I'm hanging up now because that is comical. Bye bye.
Okay. Thank you. You have a wonderful day, sir. All right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Does this gentleman not hear you that you just told him they got record profits?
Again, you have to understand this. What happens in our country, right, is we have been ideologically formed, and that goes for any country. Oh, by the way, who am I speaking to? Ricardo, thank you very much. Look, we are a country, and we all are indoctrinated. I am indoctrinated. You are. We are all indoctrinated. The thing about it from indoctrination,
I agree with you.
Yeah, the thing about it from indoctrination, we can also all discern facts, and even though we are all indoctrinated, let me give an example. When I came to the United States of America, I thought I was a 100% a true capitalist. Okay, and the first book that I wrote, I kind of wrote a few things in there that gave the reasons why I had to change the type of economic system that I believed in, and it had to do with going to taking economics in class, and after taking the class, realizing how it was skewed and done in such a manner that it leaves most people out. It's hard, and you know, if the former caller gave us a chance to explain certain things, if you have an open mind, you will believe.
I understood you perfectly. Apparently, his mind is not like a parachute.
Yeah, well, you know. So, but anyway, what else would you like to add, sir?
No, I just wanted to state that I agree with you. The oil companies are making record profits off of the working man's back.
Yes, and the thing about it is, what drives me the most crazy a lot of times is that a lot of people that these companies themselves are hurting are the people defending them. Right? They're taking money out of their pockets, and they're defending them, and they're saying, I am naive for believing that because you're taking my last dollar, that somehow that's the way it's supposed to be. As I watch the news or listen to the news and watch that, if you take a look at the per barrel cost of their profits, it is
under $100.
Right. It's amazing. And, you know, but again, the news media is not there telling the story, and you have a third party like myself. You know who took me on TV? Muslim TV called me up a few times to tell this story because they wanted this story told, the truth about the oil companies. But what can I say? Anything else, sir?
Keep up the good work.
Thank you, brother. You have a wonderful day. I hope you like that. I hope you listen to the things that we actually have to overcome in changing the narrative from the indoctrination that we've had year after year from our inception, which is something we got to work on. Anyhow, going back to the boards, to the chat, we have Julie Henderson in the house, and Alistair Waters. I think I saluted you. Eric Hayes says, it is still a crazy idea to give all the power to government. Yep, right. Who wants to give all the power to government? Although what you're saying is give all the power to we the people, right? Let's take all the power from us, right? I don't know. Think about it. All right, let's see. Peggy Lopez says, the word evil causes a short circuit in many brains. A better word to use when discussing corrupt, greedy executives may be malicious. True. That could be true. You know, but I tell you right now, I am so upset. Even now that we know we have an oil glut, and to see that the prices have started to creep up again, these guys are unlearning thugs. I mean, they don't care. They'll just keep doing what they do until they're forced not to do what they do. And that's why I say we need to clip their wings. It's that simple, right? Well, to be fair, it was the oil brokers who raised the prices on the possibility of an oil shortage worldwide when Russia invaded Ukraine. That is true. It's an arbitrage, right? But still, these guys need to be neutered as well. Again, like Bernie has always said, the stock market, Wall Street, is predicated on fraud. In other words, Wall Street proper is the instantiation of fraud. They are selling people a whole lot of stuff that's worth a whole lot of nothing. That is what Wall Street is all about. I could get into detail for that, right? If you doubt it, buy something at its high and see what happens a few days later. Well, I mean, that is an oversimplification, okay? But the stock market really is a gamble casino on worthless pieces of electronic signals. All right. Julia Henderson says human basic needs should be non-profit nationalized. Wants and desires can be for profit. Girl, you got it right. Julia also says $1 billion profit each quarter is a crime or should be a crime. I mean, you're extracting out of the economy, right? Welcome aboard, Shiva Las Vegas. How are you doing today, my friend? Bridge MCP says he is one. He hears what he wants. We have a few here. True. Lee Grant says Egberto is right. He is indoctrinated. Yes, the guy is indoctrinated. Julia Henderson says people see what they want to see and hear what they want to hear. It takes skill to communicate. Thank you, Egberto. Absolutamente, corazoncita. Let's see what else we have here. Maywood says one key word here, Eric, alleged. And once it is up to the prosecutor to make a motion to hold the suspect without bail. Otherwise, the law says that the judge must use bail to the suspects. Wow, thank you for doing that. And I love the way you capitalize the proper parts that needs capitalization. The prosecutors and the legislature who made the laws, and of course, the bondsmen. And the bonds people, it's funny, right? All these Republicans run around saying, oh, the bonds. But their friends are bonds people. And if their friends are bonds people, it means they need to be able to let people out on bond so that their friends can make money bailing people out. They don't tell you that. Notice why it's a Republican-controlled legislature. They could outlaw bonds if they wanted to. They just didn't. So it's just a game that they play. All right, what else we got here? Daniel Edo says, LOL, Egberto got a Marxist education, and it all became clear. Really? Please tell me, who gave me a Marxist education? Please tell me that. Let's see. Bridge MCP said, Egberto Willis for the show. Good for now. Let's see. I am going to put it up on the screen. There we go. I love that. All right, it says banks collected $12.4 billion in overdraft. Let me put it on the screen. Banks collected $12.4 billion in overdraft fees in 2020. That means banks took over $12 billion from people with no money during a global pandemic. Bridge, they don't like to use the word evil. They don't like you to call out these executives as if this is what the market requires us to do. That there is the lowest of the lows. The people who are overdrawing are people generally in the aggregate, not all, but in the aggregate, are people on hard times. And the bank extracts $12.4 billion. Wow. What a heart. What a heart they have, right? What a heart. Okay, we have E2247 says, housing is human rights, not to be toyed with for profit. Gentrification displacement persons from their homes to make persons from their homes to make persons unhoused is inhumane. Land is a relationship, not property. Ask the natives, they understand that concept. Not only oil company shareholders make money, so do employees. Yeah, but look at the percentage and look at what they actually make. Very little. I rather that you give them a salary. Let them do what they want to do. Give them a salary. Julie says, 2023, we are still fighting natives' beliefs that we can only sustain ourselves if we sustain the earth. True? Eric A says, corrupt, greedy politicians, what word do you use? Don't kid yourself. TG and all the bad together. I don't know what that means. Shiva Las Vegas says, homesick, my dear friend, not driving can participate. Okay. Melanie Keelan says, Professor Pangloss, the best of all possible worlds. Candidate. You got to explain that to me, please, Neil. Am I just too hyped up to kind of get what you're saying? Julie Henderson says, Eric Hayes, greed is a disease that does not discriminate. Compassion is as well. And we have Eric Hayes says, your thoughts on bonds is wacko and part of the reasons why there is a bond problem. No, your thought of bonds need to go to the Austin legislature. They're meeting right now. If you want some change in the laws, don't ask the judges who just enforced the law. Go to Austin and take care of the problem. Yes, Social Security did increase by 8.7%. Luckily, what can I say? All right. What time is it? It's 3:29. We still have a little bit more to go, but there's a story that I want to tackle. But I tell you what, before I tackle that story, I'm going to play our last video. Then I'll go into that story. Let's go. MSNBC reporter Antonia Hylton points out something that bothered me as I watched the videos of Tyre getting murdered. I mean, as he was begging for his life, begging them to stop, they were acting with their words as if he was resistant. He never resisted. Police reports made it seem like this guy started out violent, like it was a violent encounter. It wasn't. I want you to listen to what Antonia Hylton had to say, and then let's take it on the other side.
One of the things that people have pointed out is that the officers were wearing cameras and they had to have known it, and they did what they did. They carried out this brutal, violent beating of someone who doesn't, from the tapes, ever look like he threatened any of them. He calls out his mom's name because he's physically that close to home. His story was easy to prove. He really was almost home. That's the first thing he says when his car is stopped. I wonder if you have any theories, or if any theories are emerging about why this brazenness with cameras on.
Well, I think this is really a warning for reporters and for the public that initial police accounts and reports shouldn't be taken as gospel as they so often have been. And I think it's also an important warning that for those who believed that video and audio were going to solve all of our policing challenges in this country, that it was going to pave the way for reform. But the reality is that some officers are able to use this technology to their advantage as well, that they can use audio, that they can obscure video, that they can use those elements to construct a new reality, to at least muddy the reality that might be right in front of us. And I think this case is such a stark example of that, because what we see is not what we hear. You would have a completely different understanding and experience of this traffic violation, of this encounter with Tyre Nichols, if all you could do was listen to it. And you hear officers, say that he reached for his gun. We have a whole team of people who watch this video again and again and again, unable to find a shred of evidence that happened. We can't even find evidence of the beginning of the traffic stop, the alleged reckless driving that Tyre Nichols is said to have engaged in. And so you realize that this reality is being distorted, and that these tools that we thought were going to lead to change or give communities sort of more bargaining power in their relationship with police departments, that police have found a way to use those tools too. And that we have an obligation, I think, now to really listen to community voices when it comes to these important investigations. And I want to call out our colleague, Dion Hampton, who had a story today, an exclusive story today, in fact, actually talking to two men in their 20s who said they had an encounter with one of the officers involved in this, one of the five, Officer Emmett Martin, who had a very violent encounter with them. And these two men describe, trying to flee from him at one point, that he got them down on the ground, put a gun in their faces, and at one point said to one of them that he was going to blow their face off. And it's now given us additional insight into the relationship that these officers have had with people in the community. I think it's so important that we keep pushing to do that kind of work, because it builds a much clearer picture of the relationship, of what happens in these neighborhoods, how much trust is lost when these encounters happen. And I think it's a really important reminder to everyone that what you hear at first when these incidents happen often is not the full truth or anything even close to it, Nicole. And that has really stuck with me, for my own, work as a reporter who's going to unfortunately have to keep covering stories like this, but also as I talk to or educate audiences about how to make sense of it all. We can't trust those initial stories.
Points out they are generally manipulated. These guys know the keywords that they need to use for the violence that they're effecting on people. And they know what words to use. But it so happened that analyzing this tape, including the tape that they didn't necessarily know was there, it proved that nothing that they were saying on those videos bared any resemblance to what was going on as they murdered that young man, as they killed that young man, as they killed that dad, killed that person who is leaving somebody fatherless. And it's funny because it's a big issue now. But this is more the norm in these neighborhoods than most people believe. And unfortunately, to date, people would still try to defend all these police officers. Stand up for the blue. I'm sorry. I think the people that have to prove themselves right now are cops and robbers. Because as it turns out, sometimes the line, as Al Sharpton said today when he gave the eulogy, we didn't hire cops to turn into the thugs that we're asking them to capture. I'm paraphrasing, of course. You cannot believe any of these police reports. You simply cannot believe any words that these guys speak about because, again, it is over and over from George Floyd's report to all the other reports. It just shows that they lie. It just shows that they lie. You cannot believe police reports. Okay, I have a story that I ran across, and it wasn't something that I was going to do on the show today, but given that I constantly talk about, an economic system that preys on people, it just preys on people, anything to make a dollar. I want you guys to check this story out. It's a Common Dream story, one of the websites that I like to get my news from. Drought profiteer under fire as Wall Street targets Colorado River water. Vultures, said one critic, are looking to make a lot of money off this public resource. And I'm going to read the first few paragraphs. It says, financial speculators are buying and selling rights to the Colorado River, dwindling water supply, raw resources in a bid to profit as historic drought conditions intensified by the fossil fuel-driven climate crisis led to worsening scarcity. Wall Street investment firms have identified the drought as an opportunity. This is their words, opportunity to make money. Andy Mueller, general manager of the Colorado River Water Conservationist District, told CBS News on Tuesday, I view these drought profiteers as vultures, as you should. They are looking to make a lot of money off the public resource, off the pain of people. Matthew DeSedio, the co-founder and president of a Manhattan-based hedge fund called Water Asset Management, makes no secrets of his intentions, having described water in the United States as the biggest emerging market on earth and a $1 trillion market opportunity. The company's website declares that scarce clean water in the resource defining this century, much like plentiful oil defined the last. I want you guys to think about that. Now they want to capitalize on water. They want to make water into an investment, which means they want to apply cost to water. So here's the kicker. These corporations throughout the country have polluted our water basin, have polluted our groundwater, have extracted our groundwater to sell it to us at a premium. And now that the water supplies are dwindling, good water supply, because we got a lot of ocean, we got a lot of water really. There's no water shortage. There's a shortage of clean water that they've dirtied up or, that's got created by drought from climate change, etc. Now they're going to profit from it. So we have these vultures that created the problem. The water problem was created by climate change. The water problem was created by dumping stuff into the ground, by throwing stuff into lakes and rivers. And now these guys are making investments to further take this water into a domain never seen before. When we complain about the economic system and the gall of these guys. Make money on anything. We make money on you dying. We make money on you being sick. We make money on you working. We make money on you we make money. We these financial guys that do nothing for society. Invent nothing, create nothing, innovate on nothing. And now they want to make another dollar on something that is scarce, that they polluted. You got to give it to them. Read the article. Drought profiteers under fire as Wall Street targets the Colorado River. All right, let me get back to reading you guys' stuff. Egberto for show. Good for now. I got that one already. Housing is a human right not to be toyed with for profit. I agree. Julie Henderson says, 2023, we're still fighting natives' beliefs that we can only sustain ourselves if we sustain the earth. I think I read that one already. Let me scroll down. Okay. Yeah, I had read that one already. Okay. The 1619 Project's first 2 episodes are great and is a must-watch by all. My daughter was watching it. I hadn't had the time to watch it, but now that you're telling me that, Paul, I'm going to have to try to, as I do some blogging, turn it on. Peggy Lopez says, gotta go. Cannot listen to this story. I hear you, girl. I hear you. All right. We also have Bridge MCP says, victims' rights, not criminal thugs. True. Change the law, not the judge's fault. 007, get that through the head. Yes. But I mean, for him to put it on the legislature in Texas, it means putting it on the ineffective Republican legislature that we have here in Texas. A lot of people don't want to do that, but it's what we got to do. Lee Grant says Tyre was accused of having a relationship with a cop's wife. This was personal, not racial. Well, I mean, I don't know if that's true. That's one of the rumors going around, I guess. But still, it's still racial, Lee Grant, even if that's the case. Because had he not been just a black man, these cops, do you think would do that if he was a white guy in a car? No, they wouldn't. And Lee Grant, you also know that. You know that. Julie Henderson says the Tyre Nichols event is only exposed due to the poll cam. Exactly. The only evidence they forgot in the frenzy, will the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act be enforced? Very good point that you do there, Julie. Bridge MTP says citizens need to be involved, but cannot get past the police union. One union that doesn't work well. Dissolve it except for inter-office crap, not citizens. I for that there are some evil folk. All right. Bridge MCP says, punta off this, Eric. You do not hear. Eric is like in a dead zone. But he's our brother. He's our brother. All right, Lee Grant. Adult relationships are legal, not a crime. Paul Fleming says an interview held by Joy Reid with a person that was fired while in training because she challenged training techniques stated that they were vague, taught to use words contrary to their actions that would get them out of going to jail through immunity. Wow. Breach also said there's no evidence to back up internet claims that Tyre Nichols was in a relationship with the ex-partner of former Memphis police officer Demetrius Haley. A spokesperson for Nichols' family's attorney, Tony Ramanucci, said it is also unsubstantiated that Nichols was targeted because of this. The spokesperson said, adding that whether he was or not, it does not change the fact that the attorney's main focus in the case is police officers abusing their power. We don't have to go anywhere but there. Thank you very much for clarification, Bridge MCP. Let's see what else Bridge says. That isn't new regarding water. Been going on in Africa for years. Look at Nigeria. In Lagos, Nigeria, one of the biggest forms of pollution is plastic bottles. The government refuses to fix potable water to work correctly, So Nestle and all of the water bottle companies come in with their water. They clean up the water themselves and they charge you a premium. It's a shame. It's a low down shame. Paul Fleming says, no one is illegal in a stolen land. Oh, Paul, I love that. I love that. Okay, debunking misinformation about Tyre Nichols, dated 131. Let's see. I thought it was a chart or something. It's not. All right. Continuing, we have Paul Fleming says, how do you listeners celebrate Black History Month? How do I celebrate Black History Month? I just keep doing what I do because we are Black history, right? All right, I'm celebrating St. Bridget's Day today. It's your day, girlfriend. St. Bridge Day today. Any day you say it's your day, it's your day. Okay, folks, what other stuff that you have to tell me? I don't have any more videos, but I have another story to tell. And I'm trying to find it, though. Paul says colleges fold to the pressure from DeSantis by watering down AP African American Studies. We can't keep doing that. All right. The other topic that I wanted to take on was the feds. All right. And I'm upset with the feds. Let me explain a few things to you. Patron saint of Ireland. Okay, let me explain something. I want you all to see the circle here. For the last decade or more, we hadn't had any substantial inflation, right? We hadn't had substantial inflation. And what that did is it proved that Stephanie Kelton and other MMT supporters who said that we had a slack in our economic system of, somewhere around 600 to $800 billion was really true, because doesn't matter how much we spent, deficit spend, all of that, inflation stayed at bay. But the plutocracy got an excuse for raising prices. A war in Ukraine, a pandemic, and supply chain problems caused by the pandemic. And then for every time they raise prices, they could that's the reason for raising the prices. So we know it's a lie now, right? We know that Katie Porter proved that about 4%, in other words, half of inflation at that time, was caused by corporate greed and not supply chain problems, not increased wages or anything like that. So we could have trimmed 4% and that would have been close to an acceptable inflation rate. But that's not what they did. In our economic system, the only people relegated with curing inflation from the monetary supply point of view is the feds. And they keep raising interest rates. But what does raising interest rates really mean? I want you to think about it. They want people to buy less stuff. Because if you buy less stuff, right, the guys are forced to drop their prices because demand has fallen. That's how the demand stuff works. I don't agree that it should work that way, but that's how it works. It drops. Now that the prices, but they're asking you to pay anyway. Because check this out. They cripple you by putting a heavier burden on interest on you. So if you have a $5,000 in credit card bills and the interest rates goes from 6% to 12%, nobody has that. It probably went from 12% to 18%. Then you would buy less because you're paying more in interest every month. But they're taking money out of the system in both ways. They're really crippling you by saying you can't have the things that you have, and we're just going to take your money and charging you more in a discount rate and interest costs is worse than the actual inflation itself, because at least you had gotten the inflated product that you wanted. But when the feds take the money in the form of interest, they're just taking your money. We can do better. It's time for the Fed to stop raising interest rates. It's time for the Feds to return interest rates back to a low cost. And it is also time that we pass laws regulating those thugs that continue to raise the prices because they can, because they have the legal right to steal from us. That's what it's all about. Paul Fleming says Minnesota governor signing massive abortion rights bill into law today. That is great. You need to look that up. Slaves built the White House. Now there is a weird word, White House. Oh, but you would come up with something like that. Let's see what else we got here. E2247 says, news is like a cake. Events are cake. Journalists are the cake decorators. And narratives are icing the journalist layer on the cake. Well, I could live with that definition. E2247 also says, news is like I read that one already. Journalists layer different colors of narratives. Equal color of objective narrative and ignorant narrative go in great news reports, adding to our feeling joyful, soulful, angry, and bored. True. Fleming says a savage isn't. Where is that? A savage isn't the person living into the forest, but the one who has been destroying it. True. Let's see what else we have here. I think I missed one. Okay, Julie Henderson also says corporations want workers to enter a never-ending cycle of debt. Fat chance. You know, if you're in a lot of debt, you have to take whatever they bring, right? All right, let's see what time we got here. We are at... we're at 51 already. Okay. Let me give a little soliloquy here, because I don't have enough time to do another video, but I have time to do something else. Today I had a repeat caller from Monday, and let me tell you what made me happy. She called in on Monday disagreeing with stuff that I said. Certain vital industries should be nationalized because they should be not profit-based. And there are a lot of forms of nationalization. You know, we could also talk about simply, if we don't want to nationalize something, simply have it run by a non-profit scaffold. That may be a way around it somehow. You know, the lawyers can take care of those pieces themselves. But the issue that I want to discuss is that she called in on Monday, and she disagreed with my nationalization stuff, and on a whole lot of stuff she disagreed with. And she called into the show today and said, after I left your show and listened to all those things that you were saying, I had to go with my own research. And I think nationalization, even though she was agreeing, is the way to go many times. And I'll probably cut that out. She did try to put some caveats on it. She likes the kind of nationalization that occurred with Ford and was it Ford or Chrysler? One of the big threes who took government money and pretty much was bought out by the government for a while and then reinstituted it back into the system. So when she was done after the show, she went and studied paper after paper, book after book, and she called in today and she pretty much said, I don't fully agree with you, but I agree with you. And I think that's important. It's important she didn't take the words that I used at face value. she went ahead and researched. And after researching, she came to many of my conclusions. Not all. She still wants to nationalize, but wants to somehow put a cap on it in some interesting way. But I respect her a whole lot because she engaged. She was not scared to say, I am going to try this. And that's where we need to go as a people. Anyway, it's about that time for me to do my ask. So I want to ask you guys to please support our show. You can support us by going to our all-encompass support link, which is at, whoops, that's not right. Here we go. Which is at politicsdoneright.com/support. You can find all our links there. But since I have an extra minute, please support us at Patreon. Become a patron as soon as you can, if you can. We need your support. We really, really need your support. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. Patreon. So politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. As well, please support us on YouTube. You can go to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube or support us on Facebook. You know, Facebook has a way that you can now go ahead and provide support for your, you can subscribe to the page. politicsdoneright.com/Facebook. Try it out, please. politicsdoneright.com/Facebook. Support us however you can. Store, you can go to politicsdoneright.com/store to purchase our products. And please go to politicsdoneright.com/books to purchase our books. And I guarantee you'll learn quite a bit from those books. Anyhow, we're getting close to that time. I want to thank you guys for being here all of the times. I want to thank you guys for listening to the show. But most importantly, I want to ask you guys to share the show, sign up for the podcast. Let's go ahead and keep this thing growing. The good news for me, again, today is that I wrote another blog, and with that, a corresponding video. And that video also went viral. So we had 2 consecutive viral videos, meaning more than 50,000 hits. I think one is currently at 190 views, and the other one is, I don't know, it's probably around 80,000 views or something like that. So we are making progress. Keep us growing. That is how we are going to make a difference. Let me see if there's a quick last salute that I need to do. Arturo Dominguez ends on saying, that can be evidenced by the hordes of users correcting the people behind their course. You know, Arturo Rodriguez is a good friend of mine, and he's been on the show several times. Is he in the room today? I don't see him. But I saw you mention Arturo Dominguez because, again, it's a good friend. Anyhow, we got to get out of here. I got a meeting with somebody at Starbucks in the next 15 minutes. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.